Elbows up might be a Canadian patriotic phrase, but let me tell you how it applies to you even if you aren't Canadian. Hi friends, before we have a chat, let's go over the supplies. You're going to need medium worsted weight yarn in 2 different colors, a 12-inch wooden dowel, really sharp fabric scissors, and this is optional, but T-pins and a macrame board is very useful. You're also going to need some single strand cotton rope, and you want to make sure it's double the diameter of your yarn. You're going to need your grid pattern, and I like to use a highlighter to highlight each row we complete. Be sure to take a screenshot and let's begin. Attach all 22 cords on your wooden dowel using a lark's head knot. To tie a lark's head knot, you want to fold your cord in half, then take your loop end, place that behind your wooden dowel, and then thread your long tail ends through the loop. Cinch up the slack and attach the rest of your cords. Taking a look at your grid pattern, we're going to start on the top left corner and work our way all the way towards the top right. Each square is a vertical double half-hitch knot in that corresponding color. Now we're going to be using yarn to tie our vertical double half-hitch knots, so grab a long strand, and it doesn't really matter the length. I use about 60 inches, which is roughly my arm span. Place your yarn behind the first strand of rope, and on the right hand side you want to make a loop. Wrap your tail around and through that loop. This is half of your double half-hitch knot. So cinch it up and then repeat one more time. So make a loop on your right. Wrap your long tail end around and through that loop. But for the first knot, you don't want to cinch it up too tight because you want to be able to slide it all the way up to the top, right underneath your lark's head knot. Then you can go ahead and make your adjustments and move on to the next cord. So place your yarn underneath your next strand of white rope. Make a loop on your right. Wrap your long tail end around and through the loop, cinch it up to the top, and repeat one more time. So make a loop on your right, wrap it around and through the loop, and cinch. Now, this type of macrame is called a Macrame Pixel, and even though it uses the same knot over and over and over again, I wouldn't really consider it a beginner-friendly type of pattern. However, the smaller the grid pattern and the less colors you need definitely makes it an easier type of project. So the bigger the grid and the more colors, the more difficult. Now, I was trying to skip ahead to the end of this row, but I ran out of the length of my yarn. So I thought I'd stop it here instead of go all the way to the end so I can show you how to attach a new piece. All you need to do is grab your ball of yarn and grab another long length and attach it just like we did at the very start of this project. Now, this is why I don't give the length for our working yarn, because you're always going to run out and you're always going to attach a new piece. So work with the length that is more comfortable for you. Don't forget not to tie this knot too tight so that you can slide it all the way up to the top. Now, with your tail ends, just tuck them behind your work and we will get to those at the end of this project. With your newly attached piece, carry on tying your vertical double half-hitch knots just the same as you were before. Once you get to the end of your first row, I like to grab my grid pattern and highlight the row that we had just completed. This pattern isn't super complicated, so you might be able to skip this step, but I do find that it's a good habit to practice. Alright, for our second row, we're going to use the same strand of yarn, but we're going to work back in the opposite direction. Place your yarn underneath the last strand of rope and direct it over to your left-hand side. Make a loop on your left, wrap your tail end around and through the loop, and repeat. So it's the exact same thing we did for our first row, only we're going backwards. Since the first several rows are very repetitive, it's just working from left to right and right to left, zigzagging our way down towards the bottom. I'm going to skip ahead until we get to our first color switch, and then describe what to do from there. And then we can have a little bit of a chat about what elbows up means to me. All right, now that we've reached the top of our letter E, I'm going to show you how to switch to a new color. Grab your new ball of yarn and snip off a long strand just like we did before, and we're going to attach it just like we did at the start of this video. So whenever you need to switch to a new color or you run out of length of your yarn, you're always going to attach a new piece just like this. However, we are going to be needing to switch back and forth, so I'll show you how to do that in just a second. And in the meantime, if you're enjoying yourself and you like this video, please do me a huge favor by hitting that like button. I super sincerely appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right, now that you completed all the white knots, we need to switch back to the red. To do this, all you want to do is place down your white strand of yarn, locate your red, and lift up all your filler cords in between. What you want to do is run that red yarn underneath all of your filler cords. You're going to end up with a bit of a stitch in the back, which is totally fine. Then all you have to do is place your red yarn underneath the next strand of filler cord and continue tying your vertical double half-hitch knots. Now, if you're in a situation where you need to switch to another color, but it's all the way over to the other side of your project, then I do suggest attaching a new piece. There's no point in having one ginormous stitch in the back. But otherwise, we're going to do it just like this. That way we don't have to keep attaching new pieces. Now that you've got the hang of it, let's talk about the message behind this piece. Art has always had something to say. Throughout history, artists have used their work to speak out, sometimes boldly, sometimes quietly, against injustice, inequality, and authoritarianism. That's why during oppressive regimes, art is often censored, banned, or even destroyed. It's powerful, and that power still matters today. Sharing your voice, your creativity, and your perspective is not just personal expression. It can be political, it's a protest, it's connection, and it is courage. As we tie these knots, it's a reminder that resistance doesn't always have to be loud to be powerful. Sometimes it's showing up. Sometimes it's creating something meaningful, refusing to shrink. Elbows up isn't just a Canadian phrase, it's a mindset. A way of saying, I won't back down, I won't be quiet when it matters. So whatever country you're in, if you're watching freedom slip away, if you feel helpless, please know that you're not alone. You're never alone. Get your elbows up, speak out, make something, and tell your story. We need every voice now more than ever. All right, now that I said what I needed to say, let's flip over our wall hanging and clean up the mess on the back. What I like to do is grab any two strands that are close together and tie just a regular double overhand knot and then snip off the excess. Now, there is a more professional way on how to finish off the back of your Macrame Pixel wall hanging by adding a backing and a signature, but for a wall hanging this size, I'm just going to leave it as is. However, if you are interested in adding a backing and your signature to this piece, I do have a tutorial for that. You can find that tutorial by clicking the video on the screen now, and I'll see you over there.